Good morning, everybody. Oren J here with another War of the Visions video, and today I'm going to do a unit guide slash review for Winter Raviesse, a 70 cost ice DPS unit whose best use in War of the Visions, in my opinion, is a limited cost Guild Wars or limited cost PvP, whatever form that might be in. Now it just so happens that we just had a week of limited cost Guild Wars, giving me a chance to build her up quickly, use her in a really hardcore way for about the last 5 days, and I'm ready to do a simple to use guide and review for this unit. So let's get started, and I will of course in the video with a battle showing everything off, but I wanted to start on this screen. Here you see a stat block for her, and this is in a 3-man mono ice group. Look at these stats. These are really good for a cost 70 unit. 8500 HP, 1747 attack. That's really high. I like that a lot. A little bit of a drawback to her is she is move 3 jump 1 without a way of easily changing that with her like support abilities or anything, but that's fine. You can overcome that with initial placement and gear. I'm running her at 70 faith, which I think is a nice compromise for her. Her limit break, which you see right here, Holy Knight's Hijinks, has a chance of applying frostbite in an AoE. At 70 faith, she does this pretty consistently, even against physical damage units, which is really the ones you want to be frostbiting. A lot of times frostbiting a mage, as they have so much AP it doesn't hurt them that much. It's still a nice thing to put on them. I have found that 70 faith has been a good compromise between 97 and 50, and it's very easy to get to by just throwing her in the barracks. So that's been good. As far as her gear goes, let's start there. I have really liked her sword, the Glacial Crown +5. It might not do as much damage as Oren's sword does with that ice attack up on it, but in my opinion, you are fighting a lot of ice and dark teams in limited cost situations right now. When you're fighting dark teams, you fight a lot of like quasi-evade little Leela and Ruinstern. Barely ever do they run full evade where you need to like be maxing out your accuracy, but they sprinkle in just enough that you get some really annoying misses. The thing I like about her sword is that it comes with 15 extra accuracy for her, which you can boost up even more by building the accuracy version of this sword. I have not been doing that. Instead, I've been running her alongside Odin, which has a bunch of accuracy nodes. So I'm building to beat ice missile teams and dark teams with her. I find her sword is very good at giving me that little bit of extra accuracy I need, so I'm able to hit those little Leelas and Ruinsterns that I'm finding in the content that I'm going with. Now, for gear, really you're gonna run her with whatever you is necessary in your situation, but my number one recommendation is this right here. She is a fantastic option for the glinting armor. This is Rob's Trustmaster. The Keen Blade activation on this will raise slash attack, which she likes, and it's that CT manipulation that is so important for like good team building, good early turns. She is one of the better units in the game at using this. I will show that off in combat here in a minute. So that is definitely my recommendation for gear is Keen. She's great Keen Blade user. As far as trust stones, if you want to trust stone it out, I'm using the HP up defense set and the agility up offense set, and I'm focusing on making sure I get 20% attack in there, and then critical hit rate and critical damage up, and then the rest of it I just haven't really paid attention to. But those have been the important ones for me if you're looking to like TMR stone it out in a big way. Okay, and then I've been using Snow's or Hope's Scarf right here because again, look, it's missile and dark resist, like the two things I'm worried about fighting. This Hope's Scarf is an OP piece of gear. I hope y'all built 5 of those things. I built 2 and I probably should have built 3. Anyway, that's her gear setup. As far as espers go, I do think Odin is her best esper, but then for like agility tuning slash damage purposes, I did also raise her with Dark Odin and Fenrir. Both are good options, but I really like Odin because it has Human Killer on it, and a strength of Winter Raviesse is in her main job. She does have striking damage, so that Human Killer will boost, yes, your slashing attacks, but it will also boost your striking damage just in case you run up against a team that is stacking slash resist. Boom, now you can brute force them and still do a lot of work with that Odin. Fenrir, another good choice there because ice attack will also scale. with your ice striking damage. So those are my Esper recommendations. As far as vision cards go, I have not been main slotting Wish on a Winter Night, her main vision card, although I have been using it specifically for the buff. More on that here in a minute. But instead, I've been main slotting something like Dark Odin. Other good options are things like Laswell's card. She can hold that really well. I'm also using Manipul in this group for the AoE resist and critical hit rate up. I think it's a little bit hard right now, in my opinion, to build a good group for main slotting this vision card if you're trying to go mono ice. So I've been putting it in a sub slot to still give her a lot of these buffs, specifically her nice little 8 more accuracy and access to her vision card ability. So I'll talk about that more in a minute. In fact, let's go ahead and start talking about her skills. I want to start with her support skills. I think you're going to run Great Knight Mastery all the time. I've literally never taken this off. I run it constantly. Then this next one is a toss-up. You can run any of these. They're all pretty good. Divine Protection is the one I've used the least, but if you are stacking AoE resist, here you go. That gives you some, and that's not too bad. Holy Knight's Protection is defense and HP. I also haven't really run that one at all. Night Lore, I think, is very good for HP and slash resist pin up, but I have actually been running Unwavering Spirit for that Pierce and Missile resist. You're fighting a ton of Ice Missile right now in limited content. Boom, here you go. Give me some more missile resist. And if you want to see, just with this gear setup I'm currently running, she is sitting at 57% missile resist. That's with no buffs in the fight, so that's nice. And 42% pierce resist, you might run into a new skating Shadow Lynx or something. Really, her only big weakness right here is striking damage, so you do have to watch out for that. But I really have liked this setup. That's what I'm running the most. You could easily swap Unwavering Spirit for any of these others that you wanted to use. Now, since I've also mostly been targeting mono physical teams, more on that here in a minute, Paladin's Guard has been clutch. It is a better blocking move than her other two. Paladin's Guard only blocks physical, but it blocks a lot more of the damage, whereas Sword Guard and Endure are exactly the same move, blocks only 30% of the damage, but blocks either magic or physical. So I think you just swap between the two. You either run Endure for if you're fighting mixed damage type teams, or you run Paladin's Guard if you know you're going to be fighting only physical teams. Okay, now, that's important. Whether you're fighting magic teams or physical teams is like the #1 thing you want to think about when you're building Winter Raviesse, because early turns for her, she really needs to do 2 turns worth of buffing, and she's perfect with 3 turns worth of buffing. Let me tell you how to set that up. Okay, for right now, I'm running a anti-physical team. I'm fighting either physical ice or physical dark. For that setup, I am turning on Instill Sealed Endurance. This gives reaction block rate to allies, pierce resist, and gives her a physical damage shield. She will do this on turn 1. Then I have her other AoE buffs turned off. Negation Order, I don't really run that much, and I have her vision card buff right here, Blessings from Afar, off. I don't need to give that magic shield to her if I'm not fighting mages. Yes, the AP consumption down is very nice, and situationally, you might want to just stack AP down or something. That's not what I'm doing, so I'm turning this one off. Then on turn 2, she will use her Trustmaster buff. In this case, it's going to be Glinting Armor, and I'm going to show you how Glinting Armor, even on a map like the one we're on now, will get her a 3rd turn of buffing, which brings me to her sub-job of Paladin and Immortal Spirit. This girl is already fairly hard to kill, especially for a cost 70 unit. Putting Immortal Spirit on her either A, gets her another life, or B, forces the AI into using a courage removal move on her instead of what they might have otherwise used that might have been an AoE attack that hit more people or something that just did more damage. So you want to get Immortal Spirit up on her, although it's about 3rd on her buffing priority list. If you just have one of her AoE buffs on, a TMR buff on, and then Immortal Spirit, that's about how that's going to work. Now, if you were setting up to fight a magic team, I would actually do the opposite of what I just said. I would turn off Instill Sealed Endurance and then turn on her Vision card buff, giving herself that magic shield, and then let her cast her TMR buff, then let her put her Courage online. Alternatively, if you just really want her chilling in the back, or you really want both of her shields on, you can turn both her Vision card buff and her physical shield buff on. Just know that by the time she gets both of those things used, the fight is breaking out, so you might not get either your TMR or your Courage buff online. Let's go into a fight. Let me show you exactly how this plays out, and let's watch her in action. Okay, here we go. This is a mock battle against a dark defense that we had set a few days ago in our limited Guild Wars. You can see it's one of the things I was building to fight. It is a dark mono physical damage type team. Turn 1, she's going to run over, she's going to put the group buff on that gives her the physical shield. She will only use that once. Even if Victoria had run in there, Winter Raviesse would not have used that again because she will not duplicate the physical shield on herself. Now note right here that the enemy team is approaching halfway into the middle of the map, but I still want Raviesse to use 2 more turns of buffing. So watch the turn order on the left and watch how we accomplish this. By using Keenblade, she will run up to Snow and give her CT up. Snow goes next, he puts his second buff online. Victoria's doing Victoria things, she'll be relevant here in a minute. But then look at that, Winter Raviesse got to go again, and she got her third buff online as she moves into range of the fight. Now, Snow's gonna overextend a little bit here. This is not the perfect fight because we're not all 3 gonna live. Snow's gonna go up there, try to 1v3, and it takes 4 turns, it takes 3 turns, but they do kill him. But now we get to watch Winter Raviesse do what she's mostly supposed to do. Okay, it's her turn after Joker's. The enemy team has had Little Leela's Courage popped, and Joker has taken about a third of his health and damage. Watch what Winter Raviesse is about to do to the enemy team right here as a 70 cost unit. So she's going to walk up, here comes her Limit Break. So we're going to get to see this, it's a winter animation, they're fairly decent, but let's focus on the damage. Look at that. That is 9,944 damage to the enemy Renelle and 10,380 damage to the 100 cost Leela. Neither one of them are going to survive that, and if they had, they would both have Frostbite now. That is a very important move to her kit. Victoria's going to jump in the air, finish off Joker, and by running her with Snow and another DPS unit, we were able to clean up that fight. Yes, Snow died, but if Snow had been able to live like 1 more turn or not essentially get healing down on himself, we would have crushed the enemy team. I love comboing her with another damage dealer to another damage dealer and the tank to set up her buffing, let her and the other DPS just murder the other team. Victoria has been a great option for this current limited Guild Wars setup, but you could use about anybody there. In fact, this team that you're currently seeing is 10 cost under what you have to have for the limited Guild Wars. This is a cost 230 team, and it just did what you saw it did, and Winter Raviesse was a big part of that. So there you go, guys. That's the guide on how to use her. Again, if you want a different shield or a different first buff than that physical shield, swap to the Vision card, or you could swap to her AP consumption group buff off, but that's not nearly as good as either of the other two. In my opinion, I highly recommend Keenblade on her. If it would have been something like Bells, she would have still cast that on turn 2, but then she would have been in range to start fighting and not gotten her Courage buff online. Or you could just have 1 group buff on and then only Courage, not a TMR buff for a shorter map. I think she thrives on mid to long range maps like the one you just saw there. So there we go. Now, my review. Do I think she's worth it? As a cost 70 unit, absolutely. Much like a lot of the cost 70 units we've gotten recently, I think she hits way above her weight class in terms of cost. She's really good. I've had a lot of fun using her, and if you pulled her, you're going to have fun too. I've been running this exact team you just saw in Arena all week. It's a cost 230 team fighting against not cost limited teams, and it's been winning. I'm hanging out in top 100 Arena, purposely fighting other ice teams just to see how strong I can make it. She's really good. She's really good. So if you pulled her and you built her, you won't regret it. You'll have a lot of fun with her, I think. Good luck out there, and thanks for watching, everybody. I'll catch you next time. Peace.